The origin of the Catholic Church is very simply Jesus Christ, who founded the church on the apostles with the unifying leadership of St. Peter. And when you talk about Christian churches, there are many Christian churches throughout the world, and many call themselves the Church of Christ. But what makes the Catholic Church unique is that it can trace its tradition and its history all the way back to the 12 apostles who received that authority to lead and found the church by Jesus Christ himself. And there are really only two churches that can make that claim. One is the Catholic Church, and the other are the Orthodox churches of the East, who at one time were united with the Catholic Church, but as historical developments occurred, they were split around the turn of the first millennium. We will still recognize the Orthodox Church as a true church because it can trace its origins and its history and its traditions all the way back to the apostles who received it from Jesus Christ. And so the two churches, the Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church, have their origins essentially in Jesus Christ, who founded the church on the 12 apostles. Well, the origin of the term Catholic applied to the church actually has its origins in an early saint named Ignatius of Antioch, who's one of the early successors of the apostles. He was one of St. Peter's early successors as Patriarch of Antioch. And he was executed by the Roman Empire, thrown to the lions, and between his transport from Antioch to Rome, he wrote a series of 7 letters, and that is where we get pretty much the information we have about his life and his teachings. One of those letters he wrote to the community in Smyrna in Asia Minor, and in that letter to the Smyrnians, he states, where the bishop is, let also be the assembly of believers. And just as where Jesus Christ is, there is to be found the Catholic Church. And so he refers to the church as a Catholic church in his letter to the Smyrnians. And the name grew in application to the community of believers in Jesus Christ. Over time, in the 4th century, the Emperor Theodosius I came to apply Catholic to those who followed the teachings of the Bishop of Rome at that particular time when there were heresies or different factions of Christianity that were vying for dominance. The Emperor actually applied the Catholic term to those who followed the Bishop of Rome. And then it was applied to other teachings or writings of other saints at the time, like Cyril of Jerusalem, and St. Augustine of Hippo makes use of the Catholic term in referring to the church. With the split between East and West, the term became a differentiation between the Catholic Church in the West and the Orthodox Church in the East. And then over time, when some of those Eastern churches reunited with Rome, they came to be known as, say, the Byzantine Catholic Church, the Coptic Catholic Church in Egypt, the Maronite Catholic Church in Lebanon, and so on. And so today, Catholic tends to refer to any church, any Christian church, that is in union with Rome, just as all the bishops of the church are in union with the head of the church, the unifying head of the church, the Pope. Even the Eastern Catholic churches are of the Eastern traditions, but are united with the bishop in Rome, so we call them Eastern Catholic churches. So it began describing a church that is associated with Christ and in and through the local bishop. Now it tends to be a Christian church that is united with the leadership that is in Rome, and therefore united with all the apostolic successors throughout the world. The term Catholic does mean universal, but many misunderstand that term to be all-inclusive. But another way of understanding Catholic in terms of the Catholic Church is that its teachings and its traditions are also universal to everybody, whether they are in the church or out of the church. For example, Jesus Christ is Lord is a universal or Catholic teaching, even for someone who doesn't believe that Jesus Christ is Lord. In terms of the inclusivity of the church, even Jesus himself says that there will be people who are left out. He says, many are called, but few are chosen. He says, try and walk through the narrow gate. Many will try, and some will fail. And there's even the parable of the wedding feast, in which the king goes and calls everyone in, but then finds someone who's not properly dressed, and he casts them out. So there are strong implications in the Scriptures that while the Catholic Church is universal, it doesn't necessarily mean it's all-inclusive. We certainly hope and have the invitation for everybody, but like we see in the Scriptures, some people accepted Jesus, some people rejected him, and they excluded themselves. But it is also Catholic or universal in terms of its truths and its teachings, which are universal and all-inclusive, even for those who choose not to accept them. And so it's a much stronger understanding of Catholic Church, and that our teachings apply to everybody, even if everyone will not necessarily accept them.